I'm Paula Deen. Now y'all hold on to your horses and your appetite because today we're putting together a meal fit for the sport of kings. You know, no day at the races would be complete without a mint julep or two. So we're headed to Churchill Downs, where making a mint julep is no long shot. So after a sprig of mint, we're gonna leave with a bottle of bourbon and go back to my kitchen where it's gonna be sweet Cola-Basted ham and biscuits. And then there's my pineapple casserole, and if that don't make your mouth water, my bourbon pecan pie is a sure thing. So whether you win or place, you just gotta show up. I'm so excited about what we're gonna do today. You know, there's really one day that everybody looks at the South, and that's when the Kentucky Derby horse race is going on. You know, I can't believe I'm 56 years old and I've never been to a horse race, nor have I had a mint julep. So we're gonna go to Louisville, Kentucky to the Kentucky Derby race and have us a toddy and check out the horses. So y'all come on, we're off to the races. Yoo-hoo!
Hey, Paula.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
You all ready for Derby Day?
Always ready, always ready.
Well, listen, I need to talk to you today about bourbon.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a party and I'm gonna make a bourbon pecan pie.
Wonderful.
And I'm also in search of the perfect mint julep.
Here's where it is.
Can you do it for me?
Yes, yes. We're gonna take a julep cup and coat the bottom with some confectionery sugar because it melts so quick. And we're gonna put 4 or 5 mint leaves in there and a little Woodford Reserve to help moisten that sugar. And we're gonna muddle, and that makes a simple syrup.
Right.
Then we're gonna add some ice into the cup. 2 ounces of Woodford Reserve, 1,000, 2,000, because it is a bourbon cocktail. Then we're gonna put more ice in, pack it in there nice and tight, and right next to that straw, we're gonna put a nice sprig of mint, so when you sip your julep, you get the aroma of the mint in every sipful.
My goodness, this is just delicious.
Great.
That sugar down in there tastes so wonderful with it.
It does. Well, Paula, thank you so much for spending some time with us this week.
I've had a ball.
And good luck with the races.
So you're gonna give me this for my pie?
That's for your pie.
Well, I'm going to hopefully catch a couple of races. Can I take my julep with me?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
What a great party that was, y'all. I can't tell you, standing down there next to that dirt track and hearing those horses' hooves just pound into that dirt was exhilarating. If you ever get a chance to go to a derby, go. So we're gonna be using this bad boy later on, and I'm gonna stick it right here. And we're gonna move on to the very first item on today's menu, and that's ham. We're gonna start with just an ordinary smoked or cured ham. All we're gonna do is cover this ham with a little cola. You can use your favorite brand, it really doesn't matter. And this is gonna make our ham very, very sweet. Now to give it a little color, I'm gonna add a pineapple to it, and it's gonna be so pretty. And I'm gonna do just a few in there. And then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do the same thing with some cherries and some cloves. And before I add the cherries, I'm gonna take just a little brown sugar and pat on that pineapple, and that'll make it just a little bit sweeter, plus it'll help the pineapple brown. All right, we're gonna just secure our cherry. Isn't he looking pretty? Kinda looks really old-fashioned and old-timey, doesn't it? Now we're going to take just a few cloves, stick those into our pineapple, and how simple. That's all we're going to do to the ham. And we're going to just put him in the oven. Going to kind of cover him loosely, not real tight. So this one's ready to go in the oven. We're going to slip him in. All right, so that's in the oven, but you know what? We cannot have ham without biscuits. So that's what we're gonna make next. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of self-rising flour, about a tablespoon of sugar to make them just a little sweet. And now we're gonna add 1.5 cups of heavy cream. You know, I don't think you can mess this biscuit up. A lot of people say, oh, I can't make a biscuit, I can't make a biscuit. But it's one of those things that you can have fun learning to make. I'm gonna dust the counter with a little flour. I'm just gonna gather this dough up. Bring it, isn't that pretty dough? Now I'm gonna knead that just a few times. Look at that pretty, pretty dough. I'm gonna roll this out to, gosh, about 1/2 inch, which that looks about like 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna take our biscuit cutter, but we wanna make sure that we dredge that in flour good. And then we're gonna come over to our dough, press, and kind of jiggle. And then we're gonna take our fingers and just pull him out. Look how pretty that is. Now I've sprayed our pan so that our biscuits won't stick. And every time I cut a biscuit, I'm gonna go back to that flour. These are gonna be nice, fat biscuits. I think maybe one will almost fill even me up. All right, so we're putting these in a 500-degree oven for about 10 minutes. And they're just gonna be the perfect biscuit to eat along with this scrumptious ham. In fact, let's take a look at that ham and see if it's about ready. Oh, look. I came in and took the tin foil off about halfway through the cooking so that the skin and the pineapples and cherries could brown. But how delicious does this sweet ham look? It's amazing what that sweet pineapple does to it. Can't hardly wait to slice it and taste it. And you'll want to be careful. You want to make sure you've got a good sharp knife, not use a dull one that might slip on you. Oh, look how good. Let's see if the biscuits are ready. It's got me swallowing hard. Oh, look at our biscuits. Oh. So light and fluffy, and I smell that whipping cream. You know, I'm only gonna let myself have one biscuit, so it's hard to make up my mind how I wanna eat that one biscuit. So I think I'm gonna eat a loaded biscuit. I'm gonna put butter on it. All right, and let's see. I think my favorite piece of ham is that piece that comes like right out of there or right out of there. So I'm getting it. Let's see. That is so good to my pie hole. I got something really, really good coming up next. A pineapple casserole to go with these wonderful ham and biscuits. So y'all stick around.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Hey, I told y'all before we went on break that I was going to be making a pineapple casserole. My family just loves when I make this. So if you hadn't ever had this one, you're going to want to try it. Super simple to make. I need about 2 cups of cheese, so that looks about right. We're going to start with a cup of sugar, and then we're going to stir in 6 tablespoons of flour. And that's going to make it kind of thick and like stick all together. So we just stir that together. And then we're going to take our pineapple. Now you don't want to throw away your pineapple juice. It's good for lots of things. It's good for sauteing or salad dressing. Your family can even have them a glass of pineapple juice for breakfast. So you don't want to throw that away. Now we're just going to toss it together like that. And make sure it coats all of our pineapple. And then we're going to add our cheese. And like I said, I think I've got about 2 cups, but you know, things like this, it really doesn't matter if you go over it a little bit, does it? Can you get too much cheese? And that's exactly 2 cups. So we're right on the money with that. I just love this sweet dish along with the saltiness of the ham. You know, it's really the best of both worlds. And now we're gonna just pour this into our casserole dish. Now I'm using like an 8x8 square pan. So we're just gonna put that over in here. All right, so all we're gonna do to that now is give it a nice crust. And we're gonna get that crust by using one of my favorite crackers. You can take them and they'll just crush up real nice. And we're gonna measure out 1 cup of crumbs. And we're gonna pour these crumbs into a stick of melted butter and toss those around and get them nice and buttery. All right, we've got our crackers and our butter. And now we're gonna take some of this pineapple juice. We're gonna take about 6 tablespoons and mix in with our crumbs. 5, 6. All right, so we're just gonna put those crumbs on top, and it's gonna give it a nice little sweet, salty crust. It's gonna be so good with that ham. And then that cheese is gonna string all out. Gonna be so yummy. All right, now we're gonna put this in a 350-degree oven. So this one will be ready in a few minutes, maybe about 25 minutes, but doesn't take very long. But I've got another one ready over here. That just smells delicious. Let me plate up some. I want to give it a little taste. You know, I always want to make sure it's good enough for my family and my guest. Looks so good. And you see how that flour almost made it almost like a pineapple and cheese cobbler. This is just the perfect southern side dish for the perfect southern ham, for the perfect southern race. Stick around, we've got bourbon pecan pie coming up.
I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all.
Today's dessert that I've selected is a bourbon pecan pie. And I'm going to be using this wonderful Kentucky bourbon to go in this pie. Now we're going to start with 1 cup of sugar. And we've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter that we're going to mix with that sugar. I got this recipe from Douglas Boyce. He's a friend of mine from Charleston, South Carolina. He is actually an architect, and we became friends. And I used to live downtown in Savannah, right on the parade route. So Douglas would come over and celebrate St. Patrick's with us, and he made the best margaritas. And I'm not a big drinker, but one time he actually got me tipsy on these yummy, yummy margaritas. So we've got our sugar mixed up, and we're gonna beat up 3 eggs. And we don't have to beat them. We're just gonna fluff them. And add that to our sugar and butter. But I love this because it is so simple. So, we're gonna take our pecan halves. Now you can chop your pecans or you can leave them whole halves like I've done here. I personally think this makes a prettier pie. So we're just gonna dump our pecans right into our shell. So just put those there. We've got our sugar, our butter, and our eggs in here. And we're gonna put about a half a cup of dark corn syrup. Or if you've got cane syrup, it would be perfectly all right to use a cane syrup. Just give that a few quick stirs and see how that's turning that brown and gonna give us that warm, creamy center to our pie. And now for the best part. Oh my goodness. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons of bourbon. My family are big bourbon drinkers. They like to drink it straight, and I can remember their little glasses of water sitting off the side. They'd kick that bourbon back and then sip on that water. And you know, I also remember my mother doing that, which I can't drink it like that. But they would love this bourbon because it would be so smooth to drink it straight. Now we're just gonna pour our filling over the pecans and run this into a 375 degree preheated oven for 10 minutes. And then we're gonna lower the temperature to 350 and bake it for another 25 minutes, and before you know it, it's pie. Now this one's had a nice little breeze today coming into the kitchen that's cooled it right off. Now I don't know how y'all like to eat your pecan pie, but I like mine with fresh whipped cream. The only thing is, when you use the whole pecan halves, it might make it a little harder to cut through those nuts. This looks just delicious. You know, that first piece of pie is the hardest to get out. That's why I think I should always have the first piece of pie. Because if it comes out ugly, I can get rid of it before the guests know it. And a little dollop of fresh whipped cream. And a little sprig of mint. You can't get any better or simpler than pecan pie. See all your nice filling, how light brown caramelly bourbony color it is. I don't know if that bourbon is better in that mint julep or in this pecan pie. Coming up next, I'm going to give you some tips that'll make your cooking even better.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Okay, I promised y'all a few great tips. Here's the first one. Ham butter. What could be any better? Slice your ham, put it in the fridge, let it get cold, beat it in a Cuisinart until it's kind of creamy, add softened butter, stuff it into your biscuits, and your cocktail party will be complete. If you want to, you can even add a little chopped fresh parsley to it. Now on your ham, talking about cooking it with colas, it's great with an orange soda or a ginger ale. And on your pie crust, this is a refrigerated pie crust. You put it in your pan, tuck in any uneven edges under your crust, take your extra crust, making a rope of dough, and placing it around the edge of your pie crust, and that gives you plenty of edge to work with. And then you can use your knife or your fingers to flute your edge, giving you a beautiful homemade pie crust look. For those of you that have never been to a derby race, I really want you to make an effort to go. But if you never get there, Stay at home and have your own party. Whistle in for your friends and serve them the pineapple casserole and Douglas's bourbon pecan pie or the cream biscuits with butter and honey or the baked ham. Can't have a party without a pig. He's my man for this one. So until next time, America, I wish you best dishes from my race day to yours.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.